be a timer. Woo! The audio works. Hello. What's up? How are you guys?
Good. How are you, Tim?
This is fun. This is the
Good.
first episode of Billionaire Takedown, where Tim, Mark, and Victor have conversations about the transformation of our social order from our living rooms. And we discuss any subject relevant to the goal of evolving our society so that more people win in the world. How you guys doing this lovely Wednesday?
Yeah,
Good.
can't complain. Thanks. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. Pleasure
I
to be
wanted
here.
to I wanted to start us off with a question. It's a question that only occurred to me today. Might be very obvious, and forgive me if it is. It's related to billionaires because it's about the Iran war, and of course, we know that the only well, maybe we don't know, but uh, it's pretty obvious to me at least that the only people who profit from any of these wars are the billionaires. The soldiers don't profit, the American people don't profit, obviously the Iranians don't profit. It's just the billionaires who make a fortune from war, both while it's going on and after it's concluded, rebuilding areas that they've blown to smithereens and the like. But I had a thought about the Iran war and why it's happening, because we get so many explanations. Originally, it was to get the nuclear material, then it was to get the ballistic missiles, then it was to open up the Strait of Hormuz, then we got a blockade, and there have been many other well, maybe not many, but several other explanations in the interim. None of them ever make any sense, at least from my perspective. Going after the nuclear material doesn't make any sense because in June of last year, in the 12-day war, we obliterated, apparently, their nuclear capabilities. And so we're not dealing with idiots. The people who start wars are not idiots. And yet, you would think from the way that they've conducted themselves thus far that they're really stupid. For example, there's no way that they could predict that the Straits of Hormuz would be blockaded by Iran. Of course, they predicted that. Everybody predicted that. It's the most obvious thing in the world. So, why have we been given this constant stream of totally incomprehensible explanations? Why do we suddenly have this blockade outside of the blockade, which isn't going to do any good and doesn't make any sense? And listening to people like Scott Ritter, I've heard him say this explicitly. I've never heard Douglas McGregor or Danny Davis say it, but my guess is they have a similar view to Scott. And Scott took the view, I heard him say earlier today, that Trump is trying to find an off ramp. And so he does all these really peculiar things in order to give him some kind of negotiating space and political space within the United States to open an off ramp where he can say, I won. See, we put in the blockade and now we dropped the blockade and the Straits of Hormuz are open again, and therefore I won. Except the problem is we keep getting told that one crazy step after another crazy step is due to Trump looking for an off ramp. I think the answer is perhaps much simpler than any of that, and that the entirety of the Iran war can be explained by one set of circumstances, and that is the retaking of southern Lebanon and the increasingly aggressive stance on the West Bank. Gaza has already been taken. Basically, we got 2 million people crammed into a tiny little space in the north. And the West Bank and South Lebanon are two really important pillars in the Greater Israel project. They don't complete it by any means. And both of those conflicts have exacerbated dramatically since the start of the Iran war. So I wonder if the Iran war isn't just entirely a sideshow to take our eyes off of the immediate neighbors to Israel. That's my question.
I'd say it's a pretty pivotal puzzle piece in what not just Israel but the United States want for the region. It's about global energy dominance, really, is what it's about. Significant portion of the world's natural gas and petroleum comes from the region. You've also had, through by proxy of Ukraine, Ukrainians striking the Russian oil refineries. You had the U.S. seizing the entire country and government of Venezuela, essentially, for their oil resources. And they truly, they, as in the Epstein class, wants a total monopoly on, at the very least, the global energy supply. But I would argue much more than that. They want a monopolization on everything, information, narratives, how things are produced, who gets to produce what, who gets to even have the right to use the sea, I think.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
If the closure of the Strait of Hormuz was an inevitable result of bombing Iran to smithereens, how does that help their energy dominance plans?
Well, it helps them in two ways. Number one, you eliminate competition in general. So not just Iran, but by disrupting the global economy in that region of the world specifically, you have the Qatari oil refineries not being able to export, Saudi Arabia not being able to export, the Emiratis, obviously the Iranians are still doing business with China, for example. What this does is it essentially, and also by blowing up Nord Stream and by attacking the Russian oil tankers and refineries through Ukraine, it allows the United States to have a significant portion of the gas market at their disposal. You are what we're seeing right now is the wane of the American influence around the world. You call it the American empire or whatever. By virtue of that, you would think that the U.S. dollar is going to be weakened, but in fact, what you're seeing right now is completely unprecedented. You're seeing the price of gold during a gigantic war drop in price when it was going up previously in lead up to it. Why is it dropping? Why is the price of gold dropping? It's in large part because they're buying US dollars in order to buy gas from the United States because they can't get it from much of anywhere else. I think that was something that the American oil energy companies knew going into this for a long time, since they've wanted this war for decades.
Also, Australia has been taken offline.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I agree with all of that. And I think there's a multidimensional strategic mosaic at play. It simultaneously is meant to bring about Greater Israel, but I think that's failing. And I do think they expected to overthrow Iran much quicker. I think they did miscalculate on that. So yes, every war game and exercise they ran would have told them the Strait of Hormuz was initially closed. But they threw the dice thinking they would get regime change and be able to terminate the missile effect. And as I heard Robert Pope say last night, who's not on the same moral page with me, but he said, in Vietnam, we couldn't get that last 15 or 20%, and that kept the war of attrition going, and we lost, no matter how much firepower we brought on them. So these middle cities, even if you destroy 80, 85% of their capabilities, as long as they retain 10, 15, 20%, they're still able to keep the strait closed. They're still able to do damage, maybe not as much, but they can still fight a war, they can still sink ships. And they're nowhere near that level of deterioration, at least according to the experts I trust, like Ritter and others. Their missile production has been sustained, if not increased, despite all of the claims that the Israeli media and the American media are making. I mean, I turned on Fox yesterday. It was astounding how far from the truth. It's like making up stories like Donald Trump does all the time. They treat the American public like trash.
Like children.
It's unbelievable. It's so insane. It's so sick and twisted. The other, I think, third dimension of this that I've heard Pepe Escobar speak about is the Belt and Road Initiative. The trains that would be able to move product from Asia to Europe in 16 hours or so, as well as a north-south corridor through Russia. So, yeah, I think the strategy here is to prevent the petrodollar from going away, to force these nations into buying U.S. bonds and treasuries when they're trying to basically unload them. And at the same time, we do actually have a deranged person in the White House. And everyone that's around him is also very sickly people. They're not necessarily mentally, medically, in dementia, but they're mentally ill people. Every one of them. I mean, anyone who wants to live that close to power and evil is themselves very, very twisted. So yeah, we're dealing with the most incompetent, sycophantic, and inexperienced cabinet that has ever existed. We actually have the most incapable team of people, and
or maybe the most capable.
Pardon, the most capable?
Maybe in terms of stealing.
Yes, yes, they're criminals. It's the most overt form of mafia criminality. Even though this is what's existed for many, many decades, if not longer. It's always been this way. It's just been more hidden. It's more deceived because they're slicker. They went to Yale, they got a secret club. Everybody keeps it on the up and up. Now we have the Epstein files, which is another factor for the war, right? Let's not forget that. Okay, that was about to take the government down. All of it combined, man, just is why we're here, man, for the Billionaire Takedown. It's the Epstein class that wants to turn us all into slaves.
Or
they
worse.
Want to control everything.
What you said about, I heard something quite terrific the other day, what you just said about the Belt and Road railways. We've been bombing the hell out of them in Iran, but Iran already started rebuilding them in the middle of a war. They're just rebuilding, which I think is terrific.
They are really a remarkable society.
The other thing about the reasons for this war is if it was about the continued dominance of the petrodollar, and I'm not suggesting that it wasn't, but we could have gotten there by negotiation. We did not.
Gangsters don't know how to do that. Sorry, Mark.
No, that's okay.
Please go.
They're very unambiguous in the way they do things. They don't care. They don't have the same level of cunning that these people in the think tanks and have gone to Ivies have.
They're not trying to help.
Well,
They
I
don't have people of any sort in except their own elite class and their own elite group within that class to be favored. They have no concern for the whole. They're not. So if it were any of us, we'd be like, hey, let's like work with China and Russia. We can create the most amazing society for everybody around the whole world. Really. But no, it's because
No,
wickedness will always, wicked and evil psychopaths will always chase power.
and given what this podcast is, the only reason that's not going to happen is because it's impossible for the billionaires to maintain control if the world is open in that way, if everybody's willing, able to trade freely with other countries in other areas and bring.
And if there were real democratic republics around the world, and the reason why I'm accentuating that is I'll just take a short little tangent here. A democracy means if 51 people decide Victor needs to die, then Victor dies. Right? It's
51 out of how many?
100. You know,
51%.
If it's a democracy, if it's a pure democracy, then it's mob rule. That's why we have a republic, right? So that it puts a filter at least. So yes, the people are still ruling, right? But it kind of filters out that level of mass psychotic groupthink, you know, where all of a sudden, you know, we wanna kill Victor, you know. That there have been a lot of black people who have been lynched in America by mob rule. That's democracy. You can't have pure democracy. Anyway, I forgot my point before that. Oh yeah, and if we had truly democratic societies around the world, we would have a lot less religious extremism. And we'd have entrepreneurialism and innovation and so much less energy going towards warfare and control.
Can you
We'd
imagine?
have a lot more human energy going towards the things that actually improve life.
Can you imagine if we, the three of us here, could trade directly with Bolivia and China and wherever, pick a country? But we can't because the barriers to entry are impossible to overcome.
You have to go through some sort of middleman always. Yeah.
And it's not just the middleman. I mean, the legal restrictions from here are too great to be able to even begin to make it profitable.
We can't even own Chinese EVs if we want. I want one. I'm not getting one here though.
I'd like one too.
Yeah.
That's why they're not allowed.
Yeah.
Right, because you can get a car from BYD brand new for $10,000, and it's probably not going to break down very much. It's not a lot of moving parts. Yeah.
I've been pointing out these hypocrisies for 35 years. It's exhausting. It's you know, it's everywhere. It's so obvious to everyone, is it not?
Yeah, but
what is so painful is that nothing nothing really changes.
But in 35 years, you haven't yet taken down the billionaires.
Unfortunately, for the last 35 years, I mean, I've only been on here for 28 of them, but there just hasn't been enough people that have been woken up to this reality. People were 35 years ago, I would imagine, people were doing relatively a lot better than they are now.
Yeah, without doubt.
Yeah. You also didn't know that the world was run by a bunch of cannibalistic pedophiles. So, yeah.
Some people knew, but it was very fringy.
It was 1990, right? Yeah.
If you would bring that kind of thing up, it not only would it be anti-Semitic, but it would be just, you know, like believing in aliens or flat Earth, or it's just like so fringy, discrediting, right? Apparently, the term conspiracy theory is also invented by the deceptive class,
I
so
heard
that they can immediately categorize you as a kook.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be, it's like dismissive. Oh, oh, you believe in conspiracy theory?
What I heard was that it was invented by MI6 after JFK's assassination.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, even if it wasn't, it's very believable.
Yeah.
But it probably is true.
I don't know why it works so well. And the funny thing about that is the one movie, which is called Conspiracy Theory. Have you guys seen it? The one with Mel Gibson? It's a pretty good, Mel Gibson and Julia Roberts. It's a pretty good movie. But in it, the conspiracy theorist is Mel Gibson, and he turns out to be right about everything.
Right. Yeah. Just like now, if you go back to some of the stuff even from the 70s, it seemed really wild. It's like, yep. And it's obvious. Back then, if they'd have taken the mask off like today, the society would have been like, holy shit, the emperor has no clothes on. But because it's like it's like boiling a lobster. You know, we're at the point where Trump is blatantly a war criminal and vacuous of moral conscience.
But so is Biden.
True.
I mean, they're all psychopaths and they're all war criminals, but Trump has taken it to a new level.
You know what I like?
He's achieved the American iconic dream.
Has he taken it to a new level?
Yeah, he's King Lear, bro.
Is he worse than Obama was?
It's not a new level of depravity. It's not a new level of criminality, but it's a new level of unambiguity. It is the mask is completely off.
Yeah.
They don't even try to hide it anymore.
They're criminals. They're a criminal. It's like a mafia. It's a crime family. The Bidens are a crime family. The Clintons are a crime family.
Yeah.
The Trumps are a crime family.
Yeah.
It's a criminal class of people.
Yeah.
Really. And they blackmail each other with criminals.
Yeah. I mean, I used to hear that my whole life, and it and you kind of go, yeah. But when you really let that in, I think, Mark, the answer is because most people aren't critically thinking. So as soon as you throw out, oh, it's a conspiracy theory, it's a manipulation of language. Because a conspiracy, Mark, what's a conspiracy? What's the legal definition of a conspiracy?
Two people agreeing to do something.
Behind that they're not being truthful about.
Well, it depends on what.
There's something hidden. There's something hidden.
No, conspiracy can be out in the open. Two people just agreeing to do something. It doesn't have to be two people agreeing to do something nefarious.
Okay. I mean, I accept that as the definition, but
yeah, because think about it, to conspire. It just means that you're planning, you're coordinating, cooperating.
Yeah, I mean, you're conspiring when you're planning somebody's surprise birthday.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but we all kind of know when we talk about a conspiracy.
We'll know.
Well, I would love to bring up a conspiracy theory, because oftentimes what happens with them is there's truth there, but it gets obfuscated and
like cliches.
Yeah. Like here's one example, the Great Replacement theory. We'll talk about that. So for one, because I know, Mark, we were talking about Tucker Carlson the other night. So I would put this position up there, and I don't care. People could clip this out of context and try to cancel me if they want. Ready? Get ready to clip it, guys. Ready? Not you, but my detractors. Ready? I think the Great Replacement theory is real. However, they clipped it already. However, it has nothing to do with demographics, nothing to do with race, ethnicity, nothing like that. The Great Replacement is real. They're replacing us, humanity, with robots and automation. They're making it so that our labor power is replaced and the humans need not apply anymore. So that when these billionaires own all the machines and all of the capital, and they no longer require the human capital, at best they could leave us to our own devices. But I think I think they'll enact some sort of final solution on the rest of us. I truly do.
We're not getting that far.
And
We're not going to get that far.
Yeah, probably nuclear war before then, unfortunately. But yeah,
but on that level,
China exists.
I'd rather have nuclear war than that.
I agree.
On that level, but on that level, doesn't that just prove Tucker Carlson 100% correct? Because if your aim is to replace everybody with robots and automation, and I think you're correct about that. Not everybody, but I think that they could. I think that they'd be pleased to see the population in the United States diminished by about 150 million people or so. But if their aim is to replace labor with robots and automation, which is not a conspiracy theory by any means, I think any one of those people would admit to it. If that's the case, then the first group you need to attack in the United States of America are white men.
Billionaires.
Sorry,
go ahead.
From Tucker Carlson's perspective.
Gotcha.
That's
what he believes, yes.
But but in reality, they're the first people you need to go after because they're the largest group of people capable of unifying and joining against that.
Yeah.
Well, I'd argue it's a class thing. It's just a working class. So
of course it is.
The laboring class, regardless of ethnicity.
Of course it is, but there's 8 white men for every 2 black men.
In the US, sure. Yeah. Yeah. I don't buy the notion that we're importing immigrants to replace the workers that are here. But I think they want to replace all the workers in general. And yeah, I think by focusing on the ethnicity, I think that's just another way to divide us and to keep us distracted from what they're actually
doing. My guess is they're importing the immigrants to hide terrorist groups. Whether they be terrorist groups from Iran or the Ukraine or Afghanistan or wherever, because they're going to need a hell of a police force to keep this population under control.
Well, they don't need immigration to do that. They could just fly a bunch of Israelis in and have them join ICE.
Well, they already did. Remember,
that's what they've been doing. Yeah.
They did it with Afghanistan too.
Mark is saying that they're letting terrorists in so that there'll be some events that will give the populace, then give the government permission to create an extreme police force to protect them against the terrorists.
Oh well, yeah, they've been doing that forever. They've had
it's the same strategy over and over again.
I'm pretty sure, like with the Bondi terrorist attack in Australia, they knew who those people were, the Zionists. They knew who they were, and at the FBI, whenever something happens, we knew about him. We had our eye on him.
Al Qaeda
is about it. Yeah.
Al Qaeda is it's an outgrowth of the CIA and Mossad and Saudi intelligence.
Yeah, this is ISIS.
It's an intentionally created outcome that is used both collaboratively and adversarially. I think they have a dual relationship to Al Qaeda. In some cases, they can hire them to do their work, and in other cases, they create the conditions, the optimal conditions for people who want to hijack planes. And then they make it really easy for them to do it without letting them know that they're actually doing it.
Or to take over the Golan Heights.
Why do you think it's so, the presidency of Syria?
Well, the presidency of Syria is, what is his name? Al-Jilani?
Al-Jilani.
Yeah, he.
I don't remember what his name was when he was deputy head of Al Qaeda.
Right. Exactly. They basically wanted to topple the Assad government so that
Assad and Saddam Hussein were potential threats to Israel. They wanted them gone, and Gaddafi too. Anyone who expresses any sentiment whatsoever or critiques the Zionist state just gets fucked.
Do you know?
Yeah, or who is contrary to the U.S.'s goals in the region in terms of controlling
The
the
king
energy
of Saudi
supply.
Arabia got assassinated by his own family member after standing up for the Palestinians. The oil embargo in the 70s was King Faisal of Saudi Arabia saying, no, you're not going to treat these people like that. And then he was dead soon after.
Anything that goes against the colonialist agenda.
The rest of the royal family there got the message real quick. They got in line.
Mm-hmm.
I heard somebody make a slur earlier about Ayatollah Khamenei. This guy said, but he's a pedophile. He's a pedophile because he married a 15-year-old, because he took a 15-year-old girl. And I'm thinking to myself, geez, I think I would have known that if that were the case.
He probably means Muhammad.
No, he was talking about the Ayatollah.
Really? Okay. Did you look it up?
I did, yeah. And the truth
is it true?
is that he married a 15-year-old when he was 25, and they've been married for 40 years and have 4 kids together.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's completely fine. It's
a little weird, but I mean, I wouldn't go.
That's nothing now.
It's a little bit weird by our standards, but
not in an agrarian society that's organized around tribal. Like people start working. You know what I mean? You have to start chipping in when you're not going off to college to have a professional career. You're working. You have responsibilities. You're either having kids or you're fucking growing food. You know what I mean? Or you're maintaining the animals or you're fucking doing shit. It's a totally different society. For thousands of years, we've been like that. Even Americans were like that 200 years ago. 25-year-olds married 15-year-olds all the time.
Right.
40-year-olds married 15-year-olds.
What I was going to say is I do find it interesting, though, that he's pointing this out, but doesn't mention the fact that, however many sex offenders there are in Israel, the fact that we have child marriage in the United States, the fact that, the Epstein class exists. Like, you could have a problem with that, but if you also don't have a problem with everything else, then that raises a lot of questions.
The problem with our stance, and by our I mean the United States of America's, not the American people's stance across the world, is that it's so hypocritical.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
We
greatest hypocrites on earth.
What's that?
We're the United States. The center of gravity of America, I'm saying, is the greatest hypocrites on earth.
Yeah.
I refrain from saying we because I'm not a hypocrite, but my society is.
Certainly the leadership of your society.
No, I think most citizens.
Yeah, I hear you. But they don't know that they're being hypocritical.
I agree.
I mean, and there's still more degrees too that I'm sure I need to discover. I mean, I still buy lattes. I don't drive around in a Range Rover, but and I try to act and not just talk about. But I still live a pretty privileged life, even as a middle class person in the United States, comparatively.
The middle class in the United States is like top 0.5. It's like the top 0.5% globally, probably. Yeah.
I think that's why we don't revolt.
We're also probably the least happy.
Yeah. Because it's a psychopathic framework.
It's a psyop.
It's a whole thing is a psyop. They've actually convinced the majority of us that God is money. Our religion is the pursuit of wealth.
Well, it's not just
the religion of Christ.
Oh, it's not just wealth. It's also fame.
Yeah, it's a narcissistic orgy,
which are the two first deadly sins.
Because the framework is actually satanic. It brings out the beast in the human.
Yeah.
It reverts us.
Yeah.
to more barbaric states. You know, societies like Persia actually outlawed slavery thousands of years ago. They just outlawed slavery in the UAE in 1971.
We just have to hope that 300 million people wake up and understand that we're an obnoxious teenager.
Nobody's going to wake up. They're starting to see at least that Israel has hijacked the Congress and the White House and has for many decades been using blackmail and bribery to control our foreign policy and and the use of our military. But you can't look how people are not going to change their views. They don't even know how stuck in ego and identity they are.
We live in a spiritually dead society, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking dead. And our version of Christianity is pretty lifeless too. You know, I was listening to even to the Pope's comments against Trump, and he kept referring to war as either just or not. And that comes out of St. Thomas Aquinas, who came up with the just war theory. I don't think they ran that by Christ.
No.
Well, as I understand it, the just war theory essentially says no wars are just unless they're fought in self-defense, right?
Yeah, but actually, you know what? Christ wouldn't even. He didn't commit murder in self-defense. He was getting murdered, and he said, Father, I can take myself down, but Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. He sacrificed himself. That is the message of Christ. It's not kill in self-defense. It's trust God so absolutely that you will live forever, because you achieve that eternality of being when you drop your ego. And you know, I think in the Gospels it says something to the effect of no greater gift than this is when you sacrifice your life for your friends. The answer is right there. You know, don't die killing somebody else, but if you die standing for the truth, if you sacrifice for justice and truth and for children, for love, for life itself, that's a clean spirit. You know, that's a spirit that no matter how intelligent, no matter what the IQ is, you could have a Forrest Gump IQ, you have love, and you're in Christ. I think that's what the meaning of what the Gospels are.
Yeah, in the West, we've completely lost the meaning of martyrdom. We see it as like a
terrorist act.
Yeah, exactly, or like a barbaric thing.
That death cult over there.
It's been deliberately us with the brown people model.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, do you guys know that the Shia have much more? First of all, the Shia don't typically conduct terrorist activities. Shia Muslims.
Suicide bombings is not their thing.
No, suicide bombings is not their thing. There have been some exceptions, but on the majority, it's not their MO. And the split in Islam between Sunni and Shia had to do, of course, with the continuation of the lineage after Muhammad, right? Some wanted it to go to the members of his family, and some wanted it to go to his companions. So the Shia believed in the descendants. And so I believe it was the Prophet's grandson who sacrificed himself, who became a martyr in, you know, the first century of Islam, and his whole family and a group of Islamic warriors. I think they were actually dehydrated to death, but it was a significant event in the biography of Shia Islam, and it's why they hit themselves on the holiday of Ashura. It's all about martyrdom, and it's all about sacrifice for the higher, for the divine.
What is the holiday of Ashura?
It's celebrating the death of the Prophet's grandson, or actually it's grieving. It's not even celebrating, it's a grieving day. And we're like 1,300 years, 1,200 years later. And it's such a significant part of Shia culture that it defines almost everything. People, when they grieve on that holiday, they still shed tears, like authentic tears. So that's also why Iran is almost impossible to defeat. It's not this psyop thing where they tell us, oh, yeah, Muslims like to kill themselves because they're so dumb. They believe in some theory about 72 virgins. No, it's because the Christ principle is alive in Shia Islam. And Christians can't admit that or see that when their heart isn't full of love and understanding and wisdom.
Not all
That
Christians.
the society is based on martyrdom and self-sacrifice. That's why they're committed to the Palestinian cause. They are not terrorists, and they are not the number one state sponsor of terrorism.
They're a society of warrior poets. That's Iran.
Rumi comes from Iran, yes. And they outlawed slavery 3,500 years ago, okay? They have moral standing, and that's what's so offensive to the United States and the West, is that because Iran exists, it contradicts. It's a mirror held up to the ugliness of the West.
Yeah.
That's why we can't stand them, and they have to go.
They were the first to have a multi-religious society too.
Right. Tolerance, multi-religion.
Yeah. Judaism.
But for the record, make sure that anybody who watches this knows that the largest group of Jews continuously outside of Palestine, besides the population in New York City, is Tehran.
Yeah.
For 2,500 years, there's been a society of Jews who are protected and integrated healthfully into Shia Iranian society. In fact, they mandate religious instruction in the country because it's an Islamic republic. Jewish children are mandated to study Judaism with a rabbi once a week. That's how much they honor Judaism. Did you see there's a train station in Tehran devoted to the Virgin Mary?
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. People don't know. They don't know what Iran is. It's been intentionally hidden from them so that they don't recognize the humanity in them, so that we can destroy them, because they are the last bastion between a Rothschild's bank-dominated global financial system, them and North Korea.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, they've done that with everybody, right? Before the Ayatollah, well, the Ayatollah's got a special place because he's been demonized consistently now for 70 years. No, not 70 years. Sorry, not that
47
long.
years.
80,
since 1979, right?
79, yeah.
Yeah.
So for whatever, 50 years, roughly, he's been demonized. But every time we need to go to war, Putin gets demonized. Saddam Hussein got demonized. Gaddafi got demonized. Assad got demonized. They all get demonized. And the whole psyop is this notion that whoever this one person is, first of all, they paint an entirely inaccurate portrait of whoever it is. But then they lead you to believe that every person in that country is identical and agrees with whoever the demonized individual is. It's kind of extraordinary how that works. Yeah. It works over and over and over and over again.
It's so painful to watch because I don't know what to call them, but like my family members and friends and people who I love and care about are racists, ignorant racists, and they don't even know why.
You know, that's an interesting question because I'm very hesitant to use the word racist, as I know you are. And the reason I think racism has to have, I think it needs a really specific definition. And the definition that I'd propose is that racism is when you as an individual. I don't care whether you're black, white, yellow, whatever it is. And it applies to religions too, to some extent. But it's when you actually believe that you're superior to another group of people. That's racism.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't believe that your friends and family actually believe that they're superior.
I would argue that a lot of people that I know definitely think that Iranians are backwards. At the very least, they say things like, "Oh, you know, they'll throw you off a building for being gay," or they'll, yeah, which it's
Because
really,
yeah.
I have a caveat.
But that might be
about
true.
people who say that. The thing is, did you know that?
I don't think it is.
No, it's
I don't
not.
think it's true of Iranians, but I think it's true in other places that we do.
It's true of Al Qaeda and ISIS, which were created by
us.
By CIA, Mossad, and Saudi intelligence. So by feeding that monster of fanatical extremists, which exist in every society and every religion, we have Christians who blow up abortion clinics. And there are Jews who are as extreme as extremely fanatical. Maybe they don't suicide bomb, but they shoot up mosques full of innocent people.
And they're Jewish supremacists.
Yeah.
Wait.
So yes, there are very primitive groups.
Genocide, for crying out loud. They're in the process of committing a genocide.
Multiple. Yeah, multiple.
Multiple genocides.
The ultimate in terrorism.
The only difference between Nazi ideology and Zionism is the replacement of the Aryan race with Jewish supremacism.
Oh, I thought it was just in the spelling.
Well, yeah, exactly. You drop the NA part, and you have Zionism. Yes. Yeah.
There's only one letter different.
2 letters.
Zion and Nazi?
Yeah. Not Zionism, Zionism.
Do either of you want to show us anything?
Sure, I have something. This is a bit of a caveat into something relevant. Older clip. This clip's like maybe 7 months old, but it's relevant.
Mark, did you have something that went along with the billionaire topic that you opened us up with?
I didn't.
Say again.
I opened up with Iran, the Iran war.
Right. Well, then pertaining to that, is there anything else that you wanted to share before we segue?
We can go back to it. Let's do Victor's first.
All right. Cool. I like that.
Okay. I'll just play the video. Can we see it? Is it up?
No.
No, hold on.
Okay.
Oh, I've seen this guy.
Yeah. Great clip. So August of 2025.
Yeah, this is almost coming up on a year.
Right.
In the military. Yesterday, I got pulled into an officer's office and counseled for posts that I have on my social media. During the counseling, they told me I'm under investigation as a threat to national security. When I asked for proof, like what the posts were yesterday, they refused to give it to me. They made me come back today to further go over stuff. They gave me the proof, and the proof they gave me are anti-Israel posts. Now, when I joined the military, I took an allegiance to support the United States of America. I did not ever take an allegiance to support Israel. But yet, I am deemed a threat to national security because I do not support Israel and their genocide against the Palestinian people. Yes, you heard that right. I am deemed a threat to national security because I don't support Israel's genocide against the Palestinian people. Since when does not supporting a foreign nation get a U.S. soldier investigated for being a threat to national security.
So
Yeah.
Sorry, I just have to get a computer cord. My battery's about to run out.
It's okay. Guess I'll wait a minute.
No.
Okay. So yeah, it's very interesting. The term a threat to national security is an interesting one.
Pretty serious.
Interesting because I say we have the automation, we have AI, we have these data centers going up, which segues into something else I'd like to share later. What they want to do, the Epstein class, as the they in this scenario, not just Israel, but the United States, Western millionaires, etc. What they want to do is they want energy domination. They want total domination of everything, and they want to mitigate their risk. And what's the greatest risk of all? The spread of information. They want to control not just information, but they want to control the very thoughts in our head. He talks about national security issue.
They're already doing it.
What's that?
They want to continue to increase their ability to control the thoughts in our head.
Correct. And they don't want us to think at all. They want us to offload our cognition, to use a phrase, onto their platforms, into AI. They don't want us to think. Cognition is a threat to national security.
That's a t-shirt.
Yes, exactly. And thank you, because I was going to tell you that. Tim, I have a t-shirt for you. Cognition is a threat to national security. Cognition is a national security issue.
I'm adding it.
Yes. Thank you for that. I was going to write that down. Thank you. Yes, there's a t-shirt for you.
And religion brings you farther from God.
Yeah,
That's the other t-shirt.
it's true.
Well, yeah, I've seen that video before, and that's in powerful, poignant perception. Versus the typical, complaint about how much Israel controls our government, which is kind of becoming old, not so old. I mean, it's old for us because, ever since October 9th, I've been paying acute attention to this entire ordeal, spiritual ordeal. And I've learned over the course of 2.5 years a whole lot more about Israel than I ever knew before. I mean, I lived in Israel for 6 months and I didn't know this stuff, and I had I wasn't critical while I was there. I mean, I loved Israel. I loved the people. I loved the society. It felt like being in Europe. And everybody was very friendly. I wasn't a threat, obviously, right? Maybe if I was brown or Arab, I would have been, but I'm not. So they didn't treat me badly or anything, but and that's kind of something I want to communicate to people in Israel and be like, yo, bro, like, here's a guy who grew up in New York City, have friends and family who are Jewish, didn't really make much of a distinction. I'm half Irish, half Italian myself. So I have friends who are Polish, I have friends who are Russian, I have friends, who are Muslim, who are Jewish. Like when you grow up in New York City, it's pretty ecumenical. And,
Right.
if you don't learn to accept people and live by a meritocracy, it doesn't work out well for you. I mean, sure, there are some asshole racists in New York City, but for the most part, everybody is part of the same, well, at least the middle classes. I grew up going to public school. So I didn't delineate. And I even spent 6 months in Europe. But after October 7th, and I'd seen footage in the early 2000s of what the Israelis were doing to Palestinians. But I didn't even know where Gaza was inside of Israel. I didn't know where the West Bank was. I've heard these terms, the Golan Heights, my whole life. Now I know exactly where they are on the map. When Mark talks about the north of Gaza, I know exactly what he's talking about. But it was an ambiguous thing, and I was lulled into sleep over it too. Like, You know, it's like, oh, it's not in the news anymore. It seems like it got handled kind of like, you know, the troubles in Ireland. They kind of just disappeared from the evening news. And then all of a sudden, October 7th happens, and it's like, you know, it's the past 2.5 years that has made me a critic of Israel. I was not critical of Israel before that. And I want Israelis to hear that from out here, from an objective standpoint, from somebody who's actually rooting for you, actually, I now think that your government needs to be dismantled. And I also think that your society is not to be, it may be unsolved, like some very, very serious healing and self-reflection and reconciliation needs to happen. Otherwise, it is going to haunt you for generations more. I mean, you've turned yourselves into a barbaric. You've gone backwards. You haven't gone frontwards. And I don't buy any of this peace through strength bullshit. Yes, Mark, I know you wanted to chime in.
I was the sleepiest when it came to Israel. I went to a yeshiva, university for law school. I didn't notice that pretty much everybody there was Jewish. It didn't matter to me in the slightest. I didn't know that all my friends coming out of law school were Jews. Just did not matter to me. It was interesting, though. I got into a couple of scrapes. They didn't go very far. They were very, very, well, for the people that I was confronting, and confronting is too strong a word, questioning perhaps. You know, every once in a while I'd see like a meme of the expansion of Israeli territory on a map, 1948 to today, whenever today was, 2001, 2002. And I would say to somebody, hey, this doesn't look quite right. What's going on here? And I'd get leveled with this, you know, blur of excoriating vitriol.
About what? What topic, though?
Well, that I didn't know anything, that it was just a, you know, this, you know, that the Palestinians did this to themselves.
Oh, okay. You were challenging them on their ideology, is what you're saying.
No, not even. I wasn't well versed enough to challenge them. I was just challenging them on the map. Nothing else.
Oh, you were like, how come the map keeps getting bigger?
Exactly. Well, or smaller.
Settlements keep
What side
expanding.
you're on. And that only happened a couple of times, but that's how oblivious I was.
I completely bought the propaganda myself too. I considered myself to be a Zionist. I thought Zionism was.
Oh, you
Like,
did?
yeah, no, of course. The Holocaust was fucking horrible, and I never want it to happen again. We must support Israel no matter what. And I am a proud Zionist. I was. I mean, I'm not
Like,
Jewish.
yeah, it's like
But like, I
what
was
they
like,
call it.
yeah, the Holocaust was disgusting. Of course, I don't want that to happen again.
It's like
I
liberal
turned on
value
Israel before
signaling.
October 7th because I recognized that Israel had all the power in this situation, and they basically had a concentration camp in Gaza. I was looking at there's a Palestinian anthem called "The Red Banner Is Raised." I was a fan of that even before October 7th. I was already I had already waken up, and then October 7th just it didn't surprise me. It was despair. Like, it was probably one of the worst feelings I've ever felt. Because I'll tell you something too. I don't know if like you want to call it a vision or whatever or a dream, but I had some sort of premonition that I saw just a landscape of destroyed buildings, and there was just mass death and suffering. And honestly, I think I was seeing Gaza before it all happened. Years ago, this was. And when October 7th happened, I felt the same presence of energy that I felt when I first had that vision. And yeah, you know,
That's sad.
it's horrible. You know, usually when I feel something like that, it's not something so like it's despair.
Have you had that kind of feeling about other things?
No.
Well, I mean, that's really
Not like
interesting
that.
because the next time you get that feeling, I guess that's a wake-up
Pay
call to
attention.
really pay attention to it and try and figure out what it is, where it's coming from.
Yeah. Just, no, I've never had that feeling ever, and I've gone through a lot of things. I mean, I'm only 28. I don't have the most life experience, but I've seen some things, and I've gone through a lot, but I've never felt like that. No. Only
Yeah,
those two times.
I mean, I didn't have an intuition beforehand, but starting on by November 2023, right? Yeah, 2023.
Yeah.
I was mortified, horrified, and beside myself, and it's been a spiritual ordeal ever since.
Yeah.
It's I mean, to some degree, it's been normalized because you know, I can't live in a state of enragement and function. So, I've had to, I can't stare at it all day long, but I know it's there and it hasn't been resolved yet. It's the walls are closing in. I don't know if after this war, some relief or resolution may occur for the Palestinians. I mean, I hope, if anything, that is one of the terms of this, not just ceasefire with Lebanon, but man, if Israel would just declare itself a democracy from the river to the sea tomorrow, we would have peace on earth.
I would love to see what the Palestinians did with Gaza. If they were given a free hand and, I don't know, $100 billion just to do what they wanted with.
When I had a beer with Max Blumenthal, he told me he had lived there for a while, maybe a few weeks. And he said it was one of the most incredible places on earth.
Yeah.
And I felt so much despair after he told me that it was gone.
Yeah.
Because I think what he meant by it is, despite the hardships,
they're humble.
The spirit of the people was so incredible. And I think what most Americans don't understand is that the head choppers are now Palestinians. They're Al-Qaeda and ISIS and come from other parts of the Middle East and are, in many cases, encouraged and facilitated by the United States, Israel, and Saudi Arabia.
I was going to say, or the work of the CIA. Yeah.
The actual number one state sponsor of terrorism is probably the UAE or Saudi Arabia, technically.
It's the United States. It's the United States through the CIA.
Yeah, the United States through.
It's the United States.
And that's not even state terrorism.
Either the US or Israel.
Well, that's
Israel is the United States.
Yeah.
Israel is the 51st state.
Exactly
anyway,
that. Yes.
Americans
exactly
think that all Muslims are head choppers. They've never seen Ishtafan. They've never looked into the history of Iraq or Syria, the Ottoman Empire. They don't understand these dynamics and what kinds of civilizations they're dealing with.
And nor do they understand that while we might associate all Muslim people with Al-Qaeda head choppers, why is it not possible that they associate all white people with Israeli Zionists or with the Ku Klux Klan or, any number of other odious groups of whites in history?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. If we took our worst members of our society, our most racist, uneducated people expressing the most vile ideas, we've got them too. If that's all they aired on television in Egypt all the time, then I'm sure they would think that we were a demonic nation.
Yeah.
Or if they were the ones bombing us, killing our families. Yeah, I mean.
Why is it so hard to understand?
Yeah, it really is.
All my patriotic family members, if anybody would have marched down their block telling them what to do, let alone from another country, they'd be the first ones out their door defending and resisting. It's such incredible hubris. It's absolutely deceptive. to
It's
give people the idea that they have the right. What gives you the right to tell Iran whether they get to enrich uranium or not? Explain
Particularly,
that to me.
particularly when you're the one with a nuclear weapons program that you refuse to disclose.
or when we're the ones with a nuclear weapons program that we've tested on innocent people in the atolls of the Pacific.
In the second strike on Japan.
Oh yeah, well yeah, and we also vaporized hundreds of thousands of innocent Japanese people.
Yeah, we're the
Well-
only nation on earth to ever use them.
And it's funny because all of this sounds like a, profound criticism of the United States, which it is, of course, but I'm nonetheless quite a patriotic soul. I think that the United States is an incredible country with incredible potential. I think we've done an enormous amount in our nearly 250 years since our birth.
I hear you on that. My allegiance is to the divine and to my higher power, not to a nation state.
Correct.
But
As
to the
right.
people whom I live and reside with, I put myself in service to them and to their well-being and to their thriving. And so, I seek to see my generation. I'm live in America. I'm born in America. I'm an American, technically.
Citizen of the country.
I am a citizen of this system that I didn't invent or choose to be a part of.
You know what?
But as such, I seek the best of my fellow citizens, but I do not pledge my allegiance to a flag.
Well, you can pledge your allegiance instead to the Bill of Rights.
I pledge my allegiance to the source from which those principles that are in the Bill of Rights is derived. I pledge my allegiance to God, to a higher power and an energy and an intelligence that I don't understand fully, don't pretend to, but I humble myself before.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I don't
Yeah.
hate I dislike the institutional architecture that reinforces principles and values that I believe take us farther away from the divine and deceive us into thinking that they bring us closer to it. I stand against that.
Well, and just to bring things full circle again, you know who's responsible for that?
Let me guess. Millionaires?
Close.
No, I'm off by a factor of 1,000. That's not close.
All right, fair enough.
They used to be millionaires.
Either that or you're off by one letter.
Maybe we should address that on our first episode.
Yeah.
What did I miss?
You're off by one letter.
Billionaire? Billionaire.
Billionaire.
Just take off the first letter altogether. No.
Yeah, true.
I
True.
don't-
Actually, yeah, he's correct. Actually, yeah. Millionaire,
Listen,
billionaire.
It's hard
Same
to
difference.
put.
Same
Honestly, no. That's not true.
difference. Well,
because
okay, $1 million is a lot less than $1 billion. That's true. If you own a house in a rich part of the country, you're a millionaire. So
Yeah. Listen,
Yeah,
we're
okay.
talking about the ruling class. We're talking about, those who have so much capital.
We're talking
That
about those
they-
who can afford to buy Congress. That's who we're talking about.
Right. We're not talking about if you've got $10 million even, or
yeah,
where do we draw the line? We
property
want to
owning
make
class
sure
is
this is
talking
not
about.
an attack on rich people.
I've been struggling. I've been struggling to draw this line for a long time, and I think that we'd need Jeffrey Sachs and Richard Wolff and Michael Hudson and people like that to, in fact, tell us where this line should be. But my best guess is that it's somewhere between $30 and $100 million.
yeah,
Well, you know
probably.
what?
Yeah.
If people
Rent-
like and
rent
subscribe,
seekers.
if people like and subscribe to our channel, then maybe we could even have Richard Wolff on. Plus,
That's
he's a New
Jeffrey
Yorker.
Sachs,
Woo!
Love Richard Wolff. Great.
Yeah, me too.
Love Richard Wolff.
Shout out to Richard Wolff
Shout out to Richard
and
Wolff.
to Jeffrey
A
Sachs.
true Marxist.
And to Jeffrey Sachs. Yes. True.
And I'd also, and how about Ron Paul? I'd love to hear what he thinks about it too.
I'd like to get the libertarian side of it. I don't
Yeah.
consider myself a libertarian, but I mean, if he wants to come on the show, By all means.
I've got a lot of libertarian sensibilities. I do.
Hmm.
I think people ought to be able to do whatever the hell they want, whenever the hell they please, just as long as they don't cause harm to others. That's it.
Right.
Liberty. That's what liberty is.
I think so.
Right.
It's freedom in balance, right?
Freedom
If you live in the middle of the woods and you have no neighbors and you walk around naked in your house, it doesn't hurt anybody. But if you live in my neighborhood and you walk around naked in your house and my 3-year-old daughter looks out the window and sees into your house, then it violates my boundaries. So liberty, I think, is like, it's freedom in balance with responsibility.
Or I'd say it slightly differently. It's freedom with, did you just say that? Freedom with responsibility.
Yes.
Right.
And
right. And accountability.
That's fundamentally missing in our society. And we now actually have a leader who is symbolic of avoiding all responsibility and taking no accountability at all.
It's missing in our society because we neither have freedom nor responsibility.
Right. We're no longer, because real freedom comes along inherently with a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
And it's definitely in the interest of the billionaires to diminish the capacity of the individual to be responsible or to cognate.
Yep.
Right. We were talking earlier. I coined the phrase, cognition is a national security threat.
I heard that.
Okay.
I heard that in response to that. In response to the clip you played, I like it.
Tim's putting it on a T-shirt.
I have an amazing T-shirt collection. Should I show you guys some of them?
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Should that be my show and tell?
Your guitars are pretty cool too.
No, that's not interesting for this audience.
I guess so.
But you know what? If it doesn't automatically log me,
that you believe we have an audience.
It's got to be at least one person tuning in. Come on.
Yeah, how many people are watching? Curious. If it's more than 0, I'll be happy with that.
I only sent it to my friend Mike.
Yeah, I met a good friend of mine today. She's Irish. She told me she'd be interested in the show. She might be watching right now.
Oh, that'd be cool. What's her name?
Very cool. Paula.
Shout out to Paula.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Paula. Her mother is a very awesome person as well.
It's always great when the parents are awesome.
Yes, very, very, very awesome person.
All right. Here we go. Oh, I got to share. My bad. Here we go.
Good. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Mark, you know what you should do? I mean, Tim. Well, I mean, yeah, Mark, you were there. You know that banner with the war criminals?
Yeah.
From Nuremberg? Put that on a T-shirt.
Can you read it?
Yes, to the very last American.
The last American.
Yep.
Should I keep going? Are these interesting?
Keep going. Oh, I dropped my pen. Irony. Ah, good. Yeah.
What is that? Return. I can't read it.
It's hard to. Yeah, I wish I could make it bigger. It says the irony of becoming what you once hated, and it has the swastika inside of the Star of David.
Yeah.
You know what I would do?
What?
I would make it like you can make it the Israeli flag, but with the Nazi iconography and the colors.
Yeah, but I like that it's a mural.
Okay, yeah, that's good too.
It works on a T-shirt. It's just I'm having a screen issue.
It
Is
is a
that
shame
Aria
that the
modeling
Zionists really want to co-opt Judaism.
No,
to
I
that
did all
degree.
these. I did these.
That is a shame.
Can you see this one?
Is that Aria modeling it?
No.
Hard to-
Yeah,
No,
it's hard to see. All right, I'll stop
Yeah.
doing this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not visible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all
because
right.
what I've done is I took the Israeli flag and I changed the colors to match the Nazi flag. The red, white, and black.
I accidentally removed you, Mark, for a split second. You guys want to keep going?
Sure.
Mark?
Sure.
I wanted to show you this.
It's all.
Clip.
Oh, there it is.
I have this clip from Garland Nixon, but it might take like 5 or 6 minutes.
To play it.
Yeah.
So let's listen.
What he's talking about is that he was listening to John Mearsheimer, and that John Mearsheimer was saying, well, we need our THAAD missile systems and we need our military strength in Asia so that we can deal with the Chinese threat.
I've never
And
understood.
what Garland Nixon is saying is, wait, hold on a second, John Mearsheimer. That's immoral. Because what you're saying is you want to turn Korea, Japan, and South Asia into Ukraine to fight China. You want to sacrifice hundreds of millions of people for the empire
But that
to prevent the rise of China.
Mearsheimer doesn't believe that they should be used offensively, but he does have this, and it's a position I haven't understood for 4 years or so. I've tried to listen to him again and again and again, and he's never explained it. Maybe I ought to try reading one of his books. Maybe he explains it in there. But he thinks that the most important foreign policy directive of the United States at the moment and for the past X number of years is what he calls the containment of China.
Yeah.
Why do they need to be contained?
I don't know, but
Yeah.
John Mearsheimer is not a stupid man. I'm not willing to reject what he has to say just off the, but off the
Sure.
bat, I
Of course.
just disagree with him profoundly because, like you say, why do they need to be contained? Why can't we just make deals with them?
Yeah. Yeah. And if there's a problem with overpopulation, instead of creating wars to kill off people, let's just create incentive programs like China did, that are consensual.
Yeah.
And let's make sure that every ethnic group doesn't feel like they're on the endangered species list.
I would say that the population thing is it's a problem that takes care of itself. Once you have a society that takes care of its citizens, and you don't have the need for having 6 kids in order to continue the lineage, we see that on its own. Naturally, the populations decline. That's just what happens.
true,
I mean, it's happening in Europe. It's happening in East Asia. As the world industrializes, and as the world, if the United States fails in keeping the rest of the world down, and the rest of the world is allowed to actually develop and industrialize, you're not going to have a population issue. It's just not going to be a thing. There's plenty of resources to go around for all of us.
Somebody commented.
Plenty of resources.
Yeah.
Well, this brings us back to the original theme and topic again, which is there's no other reason to prevent the rise of any country's success other than either a profound misunderstanding of how reality works, or you're trying to profit from that.
You're trying to subjugate them, yeah, and
right?
profit in this
that you're a billionaire and that you can only maintain your position of advantage by ensuring that the current world order remains the way it is, and that you're inflexible when it comes to anyone even having the opportunity to outdo you. So there's a great hypocrisy in all of this.
What's the
right?
comment?
We don't want a meritocracy because right now China can outcompete us if it was an open market. So we have to control it, right? But in the end, if we were to just, if we could trust each other and know at the end of the day, China isn't trying to destroy us, and we don't necessarily know that, but if we could work together enough to trust each other, then we could trust that the outcome of the process is always going to be okay.
I think
It's only the billionaires that are trying to control it. What's that, Mark?
I think we do know that China is not trying to destroy us. It's not even in China's interest to destroy us.
No, it isn't. They have a very nice arrangement, as it shows. They just don't want war. Pretty reasonable.
They don't want war, and they want their Belt and Road Initiative to succeed. You know, they want BRICS to succeed. Well, why shouldn't we be involved with BRICS? Precisely because if we're involved with BRICS, then it's really difficult for the billionaires to maintain control here, because we as Americans get to see too much.
Because
what did the comments say?
I was like, hey, or something. It was just one person, like, hi. I wrote hi back. I can't multitask yet because I'm getting used to the platform.
They don't want self-determination. They want to be able to take advantage of the cheap labor and the resources and the plunder of the global South.
It's also having the global reserve currency, right?
Yeah.
Means you have a superpower over all of humanity, having the global reserve currency. And as close as you can get to the source of that, the bankers, then the more easy it is to maintain power and to get power. So that, you know, it's always that way. The closer you can get to the banks, the more money you're going to make, right? And that goes away if we collaborate and create a new financial order, right? The hegemony, the unfair, brutal advantage, which is only gained through domination, physical domination.
Yeah.
Right? That ensures this position of advantage. Otherwise, it wouldn't be there. It goes against, again, if you consider yourself a Christian, it goes against that.
Oh, come on. It goes against humanity.
It goes against morality. Yeah.
Humanity, I said.
Yeah, it goes against humanity. And
really?
I would say if it goes against humanity, it's immoral.
Yeah, no, I wasn't disagreeing with any of those terms.
I know you weren't. Yeah.
But it really is an anti-human approach, and we have anti-human people leading this. And they all happen to be worth an astonishing amount of money. Just in terms of that millionaire versus billionaire idea, there are all sorts of ways that you can measure a million versus a billion. But one of my favorite is in time. So 1 million seconds is like 11 and a half days. 1 billion seconds is 67 years.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I mean, in order to become a millionaire making whatever wage, it'll take you, I don't know, 80 years, right? To make $1 billion, it would take you thousands of years.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we're actually dealing, when we say billionaires, we also mean trillionaires.
Of course.
Well, there aren't any trillionaires yet.
Well,
there are.
Paper, officially, there aren't trillionaires. The Vatican is a trillionaire, probably. The Rothschilds family is a trillionaire, probably in some. And some speculate that the Gulf monarchies are trillionaires.
Well, probably, I mean, from that perspective, probably the British Crown is trillionaire too.
Right.
But I think we need to focus on American billionaires. It's already a big enough task to take them down. No? You look like you disagree.
It's dubious. It's confronting. It's overwhelming. I'm engaging in a conversation and a dialogue for it, but I don't have the answer as to how. It's but I do think it's fundamental, and from a spiritual standpoint, I think it's the biggest obstacle we have to evolving as a species.
I don't think we can change anything without changing that.
Yeah, and our relationship to the way money to money, and our values and our principles, because it dehumanizes us. It actually it orients us on a path that is suicidal, and that's what we're actually seeing in the world. You know, it's a train going off a cliff.
Yep.
Because the system itself has an intention that's not human.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you going to play that Nixon clip or not?
I don't think we need to.
No. Okay.
No, I think we spoke about it the way that I had hoped.
I have an interesting video. It's less than 5 minutes. It's from an account. This video got them banned off of YouTube for showing it.
Oh, good.
Yeah. You want to watch?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, is it
Nothing-
going to get us banned?
I don't think.
If we get
so.
banned, that'll be a badge of honor.
Yeah, we'll just start up.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll get us banned.
First, they give you strikes anyway.
Yeah.
But we don't want strikes.
No, we don't want any of that.
Even though I have yet to, but I will get us onto the other platforms so that when we do eventually get banned from here, we're not at a total loss.
Yeah.
Although I think we might have another lawsuit in the making. Class action lawsuit against YouTube. Mark.
I like it.
Maybe it could even be a First Amendment issue.
I don't think I'd make it a First Amendment issue. I'd make it a Article 1, Section 8 issue of the New York State Constitution.
I get it. Oh, I'm sorry, Victor. You're waiting for me to edge you to the stage.
And everybody knew it. What would it
Stop
be like if we engaged in activities that he's engaged?
Victor.
Oh,
go back
yeah.
to the beginning. Go
I'm
back
sorry.
to the beginning.
Sorry. Hi.
It's small. Can you make it bigger?
Yes. Is that better?
There we go.
Yeah.
Let's get this straight. How would it be if the United States were viewed by the rest of the world as interfering with the elections directly of other countries, and everybody knew it? What would it be like if we engaged in activities that he's engaged in?
That's part of what makes us special as Americans. Unlike the old empires, we don't make these sacrifices for territory or for resources. We do it because it's right.
You ever tried to meddle in other countries' elections?
Oh, probably, but it was for the good of the system in order to avoid the communists from taking over. For example, in Europe, in 47, 48, 49, the Greeks and the Italians,
We don't do that now, though. We don't mess around other people's
Well,
elections.
only for a very good
Can you do that to a Vine video on a former CIA director?
Oh,
It diminishes the standing of a country that is desperately trying to make sure it maintains its standing as a major world power.
As somebody who has helped plan coup d'etat, not here, but other places. Not here, but other places.
The United States does not start fights. America does not seek conflict.
I don't like to use military force.
Our nation enters this conflict reluctantly.
What kind of a peace do I mean, and what kind of a peace do we seek? Not a Pax Americana, enforced on the world by American weapons of war. Not the peace of the grave or the security of the slave. I am talking about genuine peace, the kind of peace that makes life on earth worth living.
In your judgment, given the enormous power held by the billionaire class and their political representatives, are we still a capitalist democracy, or have we gone over into an oligarchic form of society in which incredible economic and political power now rests with the billionaire class?
Not here, but other places.
Banned off of YouTube for that.
Was Mossadegh and the Iranian coup in there, 1953?
It better have been.
Yeah, like, how could they have missed that? I mean,
Yeah, that's insane if they missed that.
It's a shame we
there
couldn't.
were hundreds of. That's like every military action we've ever been involved in, and they're not all as illicit.
Egregious, because like the thing is, like World War II was in there, and World War II.
Yeah.
Here's my thing, right? Like it was necessary to defeat the Nazis. Here's my problem. Some people, and I don't necessarily completely disagree with this. It's like, okay,
we only defeated half the Nazis.
Exactly. When the USSR did most of the fighting on the Eastern Front and killed most of the Nazis, it's framed as the Soviet Empire took over all these places. But didn't the Allies do the same exact thing? I mean, they're all
different. They made it look different.
States.
Yeah, they made it look different. Yeah, they made it look more liberal, democratic. Yeah. Yeah. It's just the same goal. The Soviet method didn't work as much. By the way, when I said they only beat half the Nazis, I meant the other half were in North America.
Oh. Yeah.
And really,
we are not,
a quarter of
America is
right.
America is a Nazi nation. It's always been Nazi.
The Fourth Reich. Yes, 100%.
It's been Nazi. Correct. It's just been prettied up. It's lipstick on a pig. Okay? Now we're seeing it. Now we're seeing it. People are upset about it because Trump is making it too obvious.
Yes.
But this is the way it's been for hundreds of years. It's been a criminal enterprise. But because we're told from birth the founding fathers are saints who fly in heaven, it's become sacrilegious to question the ideals and principles, the founding principles and people behind it. But
why do
they get to tell the story?
Why do you think Bernie Sanders is allowed to say that?
What's it called? Controlled opposition.
Controlled opposition. Correct.
Because it gives the people an outlet. They go, oh, yeah, at least I'm hearing my sentiment expressed in Congress every once in a while. Somebody's, this way I don't have to revolt.
Bernie Sanders didn't call the Gaza Holocaust a genocide for over a year after
don't get
October
me
7th.
don't get me wrong. I don't trust the man. I'm sorry that he's one of the 4 politicians that I fell for.
Yeah, same here. Zoran included. Yeah.
But I still don't understand why he's allowed to say that stuff. I get the controlled opposition argument. I'm not rejecting it at all. But I guess the bigger question becomes, from our perspective, why don't lots of other senators pick up on what he said? Why don't they repeat it?
They are. I mean, you have Graham Plattner running for Senate, and he's an ex-Blackwater Merc.
Actual senators.
Okay, yeah. Elizabeth Warren tells that line a lot.
Did
she's
she
just an
denounce
insider.
billionaires and call them oligarchs?
Yeah, I think she has. I'd say so. Yeah, and if she hasn't, she should.
I think
she should have while she was running for president.
In the American religion, becoming a billionaire is a mark of spiritual achievement.
Yes, of course. Where money is what we worship most.
Wealth,
becoming a billionaire is, of course, the apogee. And those billionaires who are famous at the same time, well, they just hit the double whammy. Elon Musk, for example. By the way, where's he been for the last few months? Why has he gone silent? Do you think he's going to emerge in the not too distant future, touting a new third party run by him?
I don't know. Maybe he's learned to feel shame. He's deeply embarrassed with who he is.
Marjorie Taylor Greene and Ro Khanna should create a new party together.
We need to ditch the Democrats and the Republicans and all
the
these
America First Party. The actual America First Party. You're not allowed in it if you take money from a foreign government.
You need a party.
You're not allowed in it if you take money from anybody worth more than 50 million.
I would say it has to really be it can't be bought. It can't be no lobbyists allowed. I mean, if it was up to me, not only would I make it illegal to make campaign donations at all, but I would make it a criminal offense if you're a politician and you lie.
I look at it this way. I think the most utility we can get out of politicians in this system, I think, are not for passing laws necessarily, even though that's what they're supposed to do. It's to spread awareness and it's to organize people. We need to be building power outside of the federal government. We need to be organizing ourselves.
I agree with that, but I think what we ought to be doing is building power inside state governments.
You can do both, but I just think we need to be realistic in what we can accomplish, because as we've seen with Zoran, even if he had better rhetoric, even if he didn't go back on a lot of his beliefs, in the sense that he called that one woman from Gaza reprehensible in calling the Zionists parasites. Even if he wasn't captured opposition, I don't think you could have a fundamental change with just electing like 1 or 2 Zorans. I don't think that's possible. Yeah,
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agree. Unless the elected official is going to be really ballsy.
Right, but then they'll JFK him. So
no one's going to save us.
Mm-hmm.
No one person. No,
only ourselves.
No one. No hero. It's no more white horse. That consciousness also needs to be left behind.
It's false consciousness. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, false consciousness. Yep. Great man theory.
All right. Well, I'm good with wrapping it up. I'm good with staying if you guys want, but I feel like it's come full circle and then a little more.
I'm getting hungry.
All right. I think that's a good place to end it then.
Cool.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right, well,
gentlemen.
See you next week. Next Wednesday, 7 p.m. New York time.
And to all of those viewers, thank you very much.
To all our single-digit viewers, thanks for tuning in.
When it's 20,000 people, you were here first. Remember that.
You're cooler than the other kids. All right, peace.